Welcome to Weird Crafts. I'm Terry, and today I'm going to demonstrate for you one of our felt cookies from our sea collection. So we're going to do this little guy, this little orange fish, and I'm going to let you know everything that you're going to get in this kit. You're going to get a foam felting block, your cookie cutters, you're going to get all the wool roving that it takes to complete each one. You're going to get a magnet if you like to use on the back of them at the end for display. And you're going to get this really cool needle holder that you'll be able to reuse with an assortment of felting needles that are color coded so that you can see which one that you want to use. We're going to start off with the 36 triangular, which is the red tip. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to get our little fish cookie cutter there, and we're going to take the orange roving. It's nice and compact right now, but we are going to fluff it up a lot so that it's very loose. And we're going to start fitting it into the cookie cutter. As we do that, we're going to be careful to put it into all the little corners and details. I'm going to get some more in there, down in the bottom. And we're just going to very gently start to poke that down into place, paying attention to the edges and all the little corners. So for this first pass, we want to be really gentle, and we want to only stick the very tip of our needle into the wool. Felting needles are very sharp, so please be careful. They have barbs in them that grab the wool and agitate it against each other so that they lock together, and that's how it creates a solid piece. So we're just going to make a couple passes across this and go across the edges. I'm going to give that a little scrub and turn the whole thing. We're going to make a pass across this just to kind of get everything down into place. And you want to remember, after you've made each pass, or at least after, or at the most 2, you're going to want to flip it, or you will start to adhere this to the foam block. So next we're going to use even more roving, and we're just going to keep adding to it. Just get it in there. Whoops. And start tapping it down. Just fold it in there. See how I'm being careful to get right up into every part of those shapes so that they fill in nicely and that we get nice crisp edges to our shape. Also, as you go, if your shape does have a lot of details on the edges, like we want to make sure that this tail is very defined. So we're going to take wool and just really kind of concentrate it right into those details so that it is really well defined. So I'm going to continue to work around all of the edges and make across this and flip. I'm probably going to do that close to 10 times. I'm going to add the rest of the wool that I have here and just keep working it. Needle felting takes a lot of patience, but it's so satisfying when you finish and you have a nice piece. And also this crunch that I'm not sure the mic is picking up is very satisfying to hear, to know that you can hear those fibers scrubbing and locking together. And we're just going to continue on. Give it a little scrub if it's sticking, flip it over and keep going. So I've worked this piece and flipped it approximately 10 times so that you can see we're getting some really nice edges. The felt is getting nice and tight. I'm going to show you some finishing things that you can do very carefully. You can start working the sides, and this will give definition to a lot of those. I don't know if you can see, or I'll do it right here so that you can see when you start working in there, you start to get definition right away. Start going in there, going all around there, your edges to tighten things up. Another thing that you can do is get sharp little pair of scissors. I'm going to trim off some of those wilder fibers. Don't want to control themselves over here. That gives it a nice clean finish. I do not believe that this is cheating. I think you are getting a beautiful finished look. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the eye on. We're going to take a little bit of the white roving. Maybe that's too much. Start small because you can always build on it. Just going to kind of roll it in a little circular shape to a ball. I think that's plenty. And I'm going to position it right about there. Just give it a couple pokes while holding it in place, and then I'm going to get my finger out of the way. And I'm literally going to start drawing a circle with the needle to establish this shape. I need to pin it down just a little bit more. And then I'm going to work around it from the side a little bit to give it its shape. Still going straight in and out. I don't want to bend the tip of my needle and break it. So I'm just going to keep working that in. Got that little fiber, I want to work that in. I'm just going to keep working around, turning my work to get that circle just how I like it. I think that's in pretty good shape. Flatten it out just a little bit. So right now I am going to move to a finer needle. We're going to use the 40, which is the green tip. It makes smaller holes. It's great for fine work. We're definitely going to use this when we put the lines on. Whoops, excuse me. Okay, now we're just going to get a little bit of the black. I'm going to roll it into a small ball. That should be enough. Let me see, is that too much? Nope, that should be good once we get it pinned down in there. Just start felting it. Looks like a lot, but we'll get it all tucked in there nice and neatly. This is where the patience comes in. And there you go. Just set that little dot right in the eye. You're always going to want to try to work the dark onto the lighter roving if you can, so that none of the fibers show through. Okay, next we're going to move on to the lines. We're just going to take a little bit of this. We're going to twirl it. So I'm going to refer to the sample, and I'm just going to pin this down. Let's see, about there is about right. I'm going to twirl it just a little bit as I go. Kind of with my needle, I'm going to draw that half circle. And just keep working it across. unpin that. I'm going to pick that up and just kind of tuck that in a little bit. Pull off the excess. Give it a little trim. Now, there is enough roving provided so that you can do both sides of this if you like. If you're going to do a magnet, of course, you only need to do one side. If you want to run a string through this, put some essential oils on it, hang it somewhere, that would be awesome too. Okay, so we've got that on there. I'm going to give them a little smile. I think that's way too much, isn't it? I have to turn that towards me for just a minute so that I can position it. I'm going to pin it down just like I did the first one and give him a little smile. Going to trim that side off, kind of work it in. There we go. Just keep working up and down that line of roving. There you go. So now I'm just going to continue putting the lines in the exact same way until we have our finished product. Thanks for stopping by Wear Crafts.